Your source for everything paranormal. Para-X. The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para-X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Welcome to Stirring the Cauldron on the Para-X Radio Network. And now, here's your host, Marla Brooks.
Mary Mita, and welcome to Stirring the Cauldron. Tonight we're going to be stirring it up with Connie and Barry Strohm. And when Barry asked me what he'd like, or when I asked him what he wanted to talk about or to channel tonight, he kind of mentioned that he and Connie had been channeling archangels, and that intrigued me. And tonight he's going to be channeling the Archangel Metatron. Now, before I bring Barry in, I have a couple things I know about Metatron so far, and Barry said right before we came on that he's listening, so, slap me if I'm wrong. But he helps us find balance in every way. And he's a very powerful angel who teaches people how to use their spiritual power for good. You can call upon him for guidance and healing and wisdom and for connections into the highest light in the highest order. And we'll talk about this, how you can get in touch with him as we go along. But, it works with meditation or just like you would with spirit channeling in a sense, like you would your spirit guide. And there's a whole lot more. And, the hour goes so fast when Barry's here. So I'm just going to let Metatron speak for himself through Barry. And anyone, who has a question, send it over to me in private chat in the Para-X chat room. And we're trying to keep it not personal, more like general about things that are going on in everybody's lives. And there's plenty of that to talk about and plenty of questions that need to be asked and hopefully answered. And for those who aren't in chat, I want you to feel free to join us at paraxradionetwork.com. So, Barry and Connie, you made it safe and sound on that long drive back from Pennsylvania to Utah. And in case people don't know, would you like to explain what's been going on with you the past few months before we jump in and start talking?
Well, the good Lord finally brought a wonderful buyer for our store back in Pennsylvania. And it's left in very good hands, and we've got that off our shoulders. We had 3 beautiful days driving cross country, pulling a trailer full of stuff that now we're trying to figure out what to do with. And it's great to be home. It's a little piece of heaven out here in the mountains.
Yeah, it's been quite an adventure. We've had this home here for 23 years and had no idea how much crap we accumulated through that time. We've made several trips to the landfill, recycling noses on a first name, and one of these days we'll get her cleaned out, and we're raring to go, and we have a lot to do. The guides are telling us that we need to get this behind us and get started. So here we are.
It's an uphill climb, I'm sure, huh?
Yeah, and when you're at 7,000 feet, it's really uphill, too.
Are you having trouble adjusting to the altitude again?
Only when I breathe.
All right, just making sure, because I know I get altitude sick when I get up into anything over a mile high, and so I know it's not easy to do.
Yeah, we're right around 7 here, so it's
yeah. Well, oxygen is always around. In case you
you learn how much you can miss it.
Yeah. And be glad that you didn't have to miss. I mean, you didn't have to worry about that for a while.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. So, you said, like I said, that Metatron is here now. Did Laura bring him through? Is Laura here too?
Yeah. Laura's here with us. We did our prayer of protection and everything, and Laura was here, and then Metatron talked to us for a while. So, yeah, he's with us. Looking forward to it. And my guess is he probably knows all the questions you're going to ask. But
Yeah, I know. They have a way of picking my brain, and you know what? It's surprising that they're sane after they do that. And so,
I'm not going to say a word here.
Yeah, you don't have to. You know me.
I'm sworn to silence, almost.
Something like that, yeah. Well, there are chat room questions coming in already, but I have a question for Metatron because when Barry asked me which archangel I would like to have him bring in tonight, I thought people might want to hear from Michael or Gabriel. And then I told him that maybe we should just ask, or shouldn't ask rather, and just wait to see who showed up. But as I was starting to work on a banner, your name came into my head loud and clear, with spotlights and everything. So my guess is that you felt it was important to talk to us tonight. So you want to start by letting us know the importance of you being here and why you wanted to?
Yes. Good evening. And yes, I did come to you. Some of my other Archangel friends, we discussed who would be best to come through tonight. And it was a general concession or consensus that I should try it because I have a strong relationship with spirituality, and I try to bring positive things to people. And this is a time where it is very, very important that people are as positive as possible. Right now, as you know, evil is rampant. Between the virus that so many fear, the rioting and violent demonstrations that are taking place, and the general upheaval in your country, we on this side felt that it was very important that we tried to be as positive as possible tonight. So yes, I did come to you, and I arranged for you to think about me, and as you can see, here I am.
Yeah, and not subtly either, which is good, because sometime I might have missed it if it hadn't been, there it was. So thank you for coming through. Some of the questions are kind of generic, and some are more to the point. But the first one, I got reminded because there are so many earthquakes going on lately. In different areas. The one in Mexico was almost 7 point, I guess, not too long ago, and we've had a couple here. And the astrologers are predicting things like earthquakes and natural disasters as well. Do you see them going along with natural disasters as well as all the turmoil and unrest that we've got going here? I mean, is it like adding insult to injury, one thing over the other?
As you probably understand, your planet can be very violent. There have been more times in the history of your planet that humans could not have existed than the time that you humans have existed. There will be obviously times in the future where Mother Nature will show everyone just how strong she can be. There are currently movements of your tectonic plates that are going to result in multiple earthquakes in different areas of your planet. As you know, you live in a state that is very prone to earthquake activities. So it should be no surprise that if one should occur in your state in the very near future.
Yeah, we're never surprised about that. We're just surprised it hasn't happened up until now because it's long overdue. All right, well, thank you for that. Another chat room question. Do you help people find like animals like lost cats and guide them home safely? Is that something that you do?
There are times that I do indeed help in finding lost loved ones, be it human or animal. Mm-hmm. It's sometimes when people lose animal loved ones, it can have a very deleterious effect upon them. So yes, we often get involved in trying to find lost animals or humans for individuals that are searching.
Okay, because I just scrolled down and she just explained that she has 2 cats that are lost. So maybe if you can't, maybe you could put the word out for someone else to kind of guide the babies home.
Right now, the two cats in question have been found by another, and they are being cared for.
Okay, that's good to know anyway. Because that's it's like losing a family member. We all know this, so thank you for that. There's a couple of things that I read on the internet that, that when Barry had me listening to the interview he did with you before, they weren't exactly correct on the money. So I think maybe we can just quickly get rid of some of the things that aren't true, like the fact that you lived a life as a human, as Enoch. That's all over the place. That's a misconception that God turned you into an archangel after you passed, supposedly. So you want to explain that? Why are people so dogmatic about saying that that's who you are?
Well, first of all, I want all of you to understand that all of the archangels have never lived human lives. We are a different type of spiritual energy. We can sometimes assume a human form, but we have never birthed as your soul energies have. So no, I was not Enoch. Okay. I did aid Enoch, and now that he is on the other side, we do spend some time together. But no angel has ever had a human form that has been birthed.
Okay. The other thing, two actually, do you guard the tree of life?
I help maintain your human records. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what you are referring to as the tree of life. Each of you carry in your minds your own life plan histories, which we have the ability to access and to record events. There are general records that are kept. The Akashic records, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
While not as detailed as many humans believe, but we do have a general record of all that has taken place. So all that happens, we know. We know what should be taking place in your life plans, and we work with your guides so that when you join us on this side, your judgment can be accurate and fairly recorded.
And see, that was the other question, because it also says you are the keeper of the Akashic records. Solely it's all on you, heavy duty. So that's that was the second part of the question.
No. Any of the archangels, or angels for that matter, have the ability to interact with your guides and influence the information that is kept either in your personal life plan histories or in more general histories that are maintained.
Mm-hmm.
But while I do have access to it, I certainly am not the only one.
Okay, good. I'm going to jump out 1 second, not jump out, but change the subject 1 second, because Kat, who has the 2 lost cats, she said their names are Loki and Screecher. If anybody might be listening to the podcast, because you never know, it goes out all over the place. Those are the cats. So there, it's out. All right, and we hope they get home soon, for sure. All right. So one of the things that I mentioned earlier was that people can call you if they need you for help, either through meditation or spirit channeling. And I want you to speak on that. But also, the other question that a lot of people say is, well, if we do that, how do we truly know it will be you? Are there certain signs of your presence, fragrances, or whatever? Because, we're all knowing that sometimes spirits come through and pretend to be other people. So how would we know?
Sometimes it is very, very difficult to know. For instance, if I come to you in your dreams, you may just assume that was another aberration or another spirit presence. There are times that you will feel my energies, but my energies are not dissimilar to those of the other archangels. Know that we hear every word of prayer that is directed to us. So, if you have requested my presence and you feel an energy or you have received an answer in a dream, it is a safe assumption to make that I have come to you and have attempted to answer your question.
Okay, because one of the other things that I found on the web was certain signs of your presence. One was flashes of light. One was kind of a peppery type fragrance, and I forget what the third one was. So this is why I'm asking, because I think even when people try to contact their spirit guides, you're never sure of anything anymore. Pretty much. I mean, I guess the right word to use is faith, having faith in who you're asking for and faith that they came through. Is that a fair assumption?
Faith is the key to all things. There's very little can take place without faith. As I've told you before, we hear every word of prayer, and those words are directed to the spiritual presence that is requested. So it does take faith. For instance, if you do not love God, you do not have faith. If you do not love God, yet request an angelic presence, how can you believe that that angelic presence has come to you when that angelic presence is a servant of God? Mm-hmm. So yes, the cornerstone to all that we can do for you is a faith in God, a faith that your prayers are heard, and a faith that prayers can be answered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we know. I think everybody has seen that happen, that a prayer has been answered. And that helps you keep the faith, for sure. All right, so I got a note earlier today from a good friend who said this is going to be a really good question because, and they were. I'm going to probably make a junky thing out of it, trying to get it right, but here we go. She went outside, she looked outside, and there was a huge, humongous, beautiful double rainbow. And she was asking me if I'd ever seen one from start to finish, and I don't know that I have. I've seen double rainbows or not. But they were talking about, right before that, they were talking about the fact that in Pennsylvania, where they are, they're opening up, Pennsylvania's going green and everything is going to open up, and of course spikes in the COVID virus have happened that for the other states. So she was wondering, could that double rainbow or that beautiful rainbow, because people all over the state were seeing it and they were writing about it on Facebook, it was just so gorgeous. Could that be taken as an omen of good things to come?
The rainbow, the double rainbow to which you refer, was a true act of God. It is time for people to understand that there is good and there is bad. A rainbow is one of the most beautiful creations of God. He brought that to the people to see. Anyone that saw that should reaffirm their faith that God truly exists and that he will bring you signs of his presence. It has been a difficult time for the people of many states, including Pennsylvania. He felt that it was time to show his positive presence, and that simply is what he did. There will still be times of turmoil concerning the virus that all of you humans are fighting at this time. But God wanted to tell you that he is watching and he will prevail over evil. And what could be a more beautiful way of showing it than a magnificent double rainbow?
Yeah, I mean, they're just absolutely beautiful. And she did send a picture of it, and the single part of it, I think the double faded first, but it's quite beautiful. And, if people look into nature very seriously and with open minds, there's a lot to see that gets overlooked by, just the mundane life. But it's magic and miracles and all that stuff is around every corner if people just take the time to stop and look.
You are correct, Marla. Every night there is a sunset. Every morning there is a sunrise. God has provided these for you. These are signs of his presence, just as of all the beautiful things that he has provided for you in nature. He has attempted to show his presence in many, many ways to you humans. It is up to you humans to open your hearts, pay attention, and observe what he has done for you. The mere fact that you are living and that you are functioning and you are advancing is a sign that God is watching you. when you turn away from God, you will turn away from your evolution. All great civilizations have failed to date. Your country is currently being tested. God will help those that have faith. And it is time for all of you to turn to God and to follow what you believe to be his commandments of love and faith. Just as that double rainbow existed, he is capable of bringing all of you a future and positive evolution for all.
Okay, now that sounds really good. And, as you're talking, I'm thinking, because there is so much wrong going on in the world right now. There is so much, forget the virus. I mean, that in its own self is way plenty enough, but there's more. And you know that. There is hatred. There is chaos. There are people that clearly don't believe in God, or they wouldn't be acting the way they were. People are very much afraid now. People are afraid to walk the streets. People are afraid to say the wrong things. People are afraid of a civil war, and on two different levels, both racial and political. So, all the faith and all the believers and all those that turn to God, it seems like lately they're outnumbered by the naysayers and the haters and those who are causing all the chaos.
Yes, you are correct. Your country is undergoing a true test, and it may be one of the most critical tests that it will ever see. As I stated earlier, all great civilizations have failed because they have turned away from God. If the majority of individuals turn from God and do not follow his commands of love, then the human race will fail. Throughout the galaxy, civilizations are continuously failing because they do not learn the lessons that God preaches. But there are also civilizations that have functioned, that have learned of his commands and have functioned for millions of years. What it all comes down to is that all souls are given free will and they're given egos. How they use that free will and egos will determine how their civilization advances or declines. So now is the time for people of faith to step forward and take command of what is taking place around you. You will be facing elections. When God came to your founding fathers, he laid out a system of government closest to what he perceived as a government that was closest to his teachings. Since your founding, many have strayed from those basic principles. If individuals want to continue to stray from those principles, then your civilization will fail. Sadly, it is that simple.
Well, it's like the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And when we have these really bad, looting, miserable riots, people were helpless to do anything about it except kind of let it wear itself out. And so the same thing goes with all the other negativity that's going on, if this civilization fails, then the people that are God-fearing and believe in, have the faith and everything, are they being punished? Because they're, when somebody starts drowning and they start grabbing everybody around him, everybody drowns. So it just is kind of interesting that people that don't deserve it, in a sense, are going to end up in the gutter too, huh?
Sadly, that has been the way of human nature since the beginning. When a majority of people fail to follow the preachings of God, civilizations will fail. And sadly, those in the minority suffer. However, the point you are missing is the fact that a human life is but a blink in the eye in the soul lives that have been repeated for thousands of times.
Mm-hmm.
Your true home is in heaven. It is not on earth.
True.
And you have to believe that the short period that you go through in a human lifetime is but a most minuscule reflection of your soul lives. So yes, sadly, in the short run, people suffer. Just as when Christ walked the earth, individuals were crucified, Christians were punished for their belief. But when they returned home, they were welcomed. And that short life experience helped them to advance their standing in the realms of heaven. So everything is relative.
Mm-hmm. So
Yes, yes, minorities. If the people who follow God fall into the minority, sadly they will suffer, but their rewards will be in heaven.
And maybe it's a life lesson that we needed. There are people that were born here and here at a certain time for certain reasons. So, maybe that would be a life lesson. That doesn't make it any easier to swallow. I'm kidding. But, yeah, it could be a life lesson. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I want to talk to you more about how people can contact you, just all kinds of things to get in touch with you, because I know there's many different ways, and you made it very simple before, but we'll talk about some of the other things too. So everybody sit tight. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Stirring the Cauldron will be right back, so don't go away. If you end up with webbed feet, remember, you've been warned. Explore the second edition of the Witch's Oracle deck through 45 innovative cards and enhanced guidebook that peers into the world of the witch. The deck's stunning artwork has a new look and includes 7 brand new inspirational cards. Each card now includes a suggested crystal or gemstone to enhance your reading, as well as a magical incantation that provides energy, reinforces the card's meaning, and helps the desired message to be sent out into the universe. The easy-to-navigate guide also has a new look and offers straightforward, gentle guidance that takes readers through both good times and bad. And now includes a chapter on crystal and gemstone divination by the amazing Nicholas Pearson. The Witch's Oracle. It is a perfect divination deck for witches as well as non-pagans, and is designed to suit both seasoned readers and beginners alike. Find out more about the Witch's Oracle deck at www.marlabrooks.com, and you can purchase the deck from schifferbooks.com, amazon.com, or order a copy from your favorite bookseller.
He said,
You've no doubt heard of Tango and Cash, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Perhaps it takes two to tango. Well, now, on the first and third Thursdays of each month, there's a show called Tango and Friends at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Para X Radio Network with your host, Bruce Tango. And yes, there will be at least two to tango on each episode, sometimes even more. There's going to be lots of topics and lots of guests you'll all know and lots of surprises. Tango and Friends every first and third Thursday of the month at 8 p.m. right here on the Para X Radio Network.
Welcome back to Stirring the Cauldron. Once again, here's your host, Marla Brooks.
Hey, welcome back. We're back with Barry Strohm, Connie Strohm, and Archangel Metatron. And again, if anybody has any questions, just toss them my way into private message in the ParaX chat room, and we'll get them passed over. But when we started, earlier we talked about how people can get in touch with you, and you say that you hear everything that everybody says. Some people want to pray, some people might want to meditate, but is it really just that easy to call your name and here you are?
In many instances, it is. If we know the human souls that have faith and believe, and the angels are assigned to those individuals, and those angels help carry messages to those that are being prayed to. So when we say all prayers are heard, they may not be heard specifically by all of us at that time, but when your prayers are directed, we are notified of that prayer, and we do respond accordingly to it. As you are well aware, many prayers cannot be answered because they would interfere with your life plans. But in many instances, we can guide and we can help, and we can certainly reinforce any actions that reinforce your life plans. So yes, somebody hears every prayer, and those prayers or meditations are directed towards the angelic spirit or guide or even God when they are directed as stated.
Okay. Just got a question from the chat room. We'll get back to what we were talking about in a minute. They want to know if an archangel can also be a guardian angel.
Yes. Quite often the term guardian angel is totally misunderstood.
Okay.
There are times that an angel will watch over and protect, but there are also times that other spirits can step in and help protect a soul that has lifed. For instance, there may be time that a family member will step in and influence an action. There can be times that other spirits can influence and protect a soul that has lifed. And, of course, there are times that angels will come and help assure that you are protected so that you can follow the plan of life that you were given when you entered the human realm.
Okay, now some people may believe that calling in an angel and calling in an archangel is different, that maybe you have more power than an angel. because I know somebody's thinking that somewhere in there, well, if I'm going to call one, I'm going to go to the top, I'm not going to mess with the middleman. So is that true? I mean, is it more powerful to call in an archangel than it is an angel? Because I think what people may believe is that an angel is a step above a spirit guide. I mean, there's a ladder of ascension up there. So would people be really better off calling an archangel than a regular angel?
Well, there are times that we become involved personally, and there are times that we use our other angels to carry out the request. It's actually quite complicated.
It's kind of like dependent. I'm sorry to interrupt. It's like the severity of the request, like you can go to a GP, a doctor, or you can go to a specialist. So is it kind of that way, somebody that knows a little bit?
Just like for tonight,
mm-hmm.
we analyzed the questions that would be asked, and we determined that I am the one that should come forward to speak.
Mm-hmm.
If you had requested another archangel, such as Gabriel, Raphael, Michael, they would have come forward and they would be giving you the same answers.
Mm-hmm.
Because I am speaking the truth.
Right.
And all archangels speak the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So in many instances, we can become involved, but if our presence is not truly required, sometimes we use all of the angels that are associated with us.
Mm-hmm.
We have a vast network of angels. There's always one close by.
Yeah.
And even though you don't call on them, quite often they will intervene and assist you with your life plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of think, as with a spirit guide, there's probably one angel for every person that's on this planet. Some of them are more needy than others, the people. So, that makes sense.
Yes, you speak the truth. There's generally an angel close by. People just do not simply understand that.
Mm-hmm. And we always tell people, talk to your guides and acknowledge them, and they should also talk to their angels and acknowledge them as well.
There is a vast network over here that supports human life.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, there are still those that stray from that support. Remember this, evil is never, ever created on this side of the veil. All souls enter life without an evil intent.
Mm-hmm.
But as God wanted to test humans, it is the result of their free will and egos that create greed or the other psychotic forms that create evil.
Mm-hmm.
But it is created on your side. You can never, ever blame us for evil.
Okay, that's good. There's another chat room question. Is it true that there is more power in the prayer when there are more people praying? And if so, why?
Each prayer has an energy, just as we've referred to people as raising your vibration. If there are many people praying the same thing, there are these multiple energies that are directed. In many instances, the multiplicity of those energies are felt, and we make assessments as to the importance, the relative importance of prayers being asked to the potential evolution or event. Bear in mind that everyone comes in with a life plan, and it is the sum total of those life plans, if followed, that will lead to a positive evolution. So when many people pray, there is a compound effect in those energies. Sometimes those prayers are given more weight than others. But there's also times that what those people are praying for cannot be accomplished because it interferes with too many life plans.
And I'm kind of thinking that when more people pray, it's stronger and they believe in their prayer. So that might help it along a little bit too, don't you think?
Yes, all things are weighed on this side as to how they affect the potential for the growth of the human souls involved. So it is good when many people pray for the same thing. Mm-hmm. That is how God knows that there is a lot of people interested in that potential event. It is only through prayer that we can assess what is truly in the minds of you humans.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Another chat room question. She'd like to know what happens to people like Jeffrey Epstein, for example, when they cross over, or if they do cross over.
People that have created evil in their lifetimes are forced first to judge those events, and then their guides or potentially angels will then judge those events. A decision is made at that time what will be the determination for that soul in the realms of heaven. If they have truly done massive evil, they will be delegated to the lowest realm, a place of nothingness, where they will remain until the soul realizes the mistakes they have made and realizes that they will have to atone for those events in future lifetimes. Once they have accomplished that change of attitudes, that we say, they are allowed to emerge from that level, but they will be given life plans that will atone for the evil that they have done. Individuals that have not created such gross evil may simply be placed in a lower realm, and their life plans in the future will be directed at redemption for the evil deeds that they did.
Okay, so it isn't, when you always hear about hell, where you're going to hell for all eternity, that's not quite right.
Our God is very forgiving.
Okay.
If the soul deserves forgiveness, it will be given forgiveness, but it will have to repay the karma that they performed in that previous lifetime. Mm-hmm. A soul can remain in the lower level for thousands of years, depending on what they have done. And they can be forced to live thousands of lifetimes just to repay the evil. So a soul should consider how it leads its life, because there are truly penalties when you come over here.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if this is going to be sounding like a silly question, and I'm not quite sure how to word it, but here goes. I'm just thinking, because angels were never human, they were never birthed. How then are angels and archangels created? I mean, or have you always been since the very beginning, or are new ones, I mean, it's not like you're a baby archangel and you grow up as we humans do. Am I making any sense? I mean, just want to know. Do you remember your creation, for example, or
all energies have been around since creation.
Mm-hmm.
Angelic energies were created at creation, just the same as soul energies were created. Angels have advanced through their deeds, through time, just as human souls have advanced through their deeds in the realms of heaven. Our advancement is based on our service to God. Human advancement is based on how you follow the teachings of God and how you treat others and how you show love towards others. So our advancement in some ways is similar to human advancement, but in some ways very different. But we have become archangels because of our massive is probably not the proper word, but because of our service to God. Mm-hmm. And we advanced in that in angelic service as human souls advance in the realms to become more godlike.
Well, I think you picked the brain of the person who asked this question, because I was just reading it, and you answered the question before I asked, because he said he always wondered what the difference is between an archangel and a regular angel. Is one more higher ranking than the other? And you pretty much answered that.
Yes, I realized what the next question was going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It must be good. Well, no, it must not be good to know what people are thinking in many cases. No, it's probably not a good thing, but you probably are stronger than we are, because there are people's minds that I would never want to get anywhere near. So, yeah. I'm just looking for any other questions here. So prayers and meditation are very important, aren't they?
Yes, extremely important. Meditation is good for the human soul. Mm-hmm. First of all, it relaxes you and has good physical potential mm-hmm. for your body. But second of all, it relaxes your mind and with practice allows you to communicate with your guides, with other human spirits that are not guides, or even with us angels. Mm-hmm. So meditation is very good. It has great potential. Sometimes it is very difficult, but it is a practice that is well learned.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I've got two more questions. One, do you ever show yourself to people that you're helping? And if so,
there are times that we do show ourselves. Mm-hmm. Mostly, we will show ourselves in your dreams, mm-hmm. and we can have various appearances. When we come to you in a dream, we will try to be a form that does not scare, but is very loving. Mm-hmm. So for different individuals, we may have to appear in different forms. Mm-hmm. So there is not one form. I know that you humans like to assign forms to us. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we laugh when we see the shapes that we are given by you humans. But
you mean you don't have wings?
Maybe. There are times we have wings, and there are times we don't.
Okay.
I know we have several angels have shown themselves to Barry,
Mm-hmm.
and they have been in different forms.
Yeah.
One night we had Gabriel come to him in full angelic form with wings in color. We did that so that he understood the true power that he possessed, and that he needed to bring abilities forward, and that we could communicate to others through him. So we showed ourselves to him in multiple forms.
Mm-hmm. I would just think it would be really nice that if you were, for example, that we knew that it was you, or an angel, anybody other than, our imaginations. It would just be nice, and I'm guessing also that there would be a really, if you did show up in a form that maybe we didn't recognize as you, there might be a really nice, warm, fuzzy feeling that went along with that might be a hint, right?
It is a possibility. I will discuss it with the others.
It sounds good, I mean, sometimes when people are at their worst, they would really kind of like need to know for sure, in their minds.
Generally, we appear as white, as forms in white, because white is a pure color,
right?
And it is a color that is associated with angels. Mm-hmm. So when many of you see us, you see forms in white.
And it just takes a little belief to know what they're thinking is what they're really seeing.
As I said earlier, it is a matter of faith.
Yeah, faith and belief. That's the two common words that people sometimes forget, and they need not. All right, well, we are running out of time really quickly. Anything in closing that you would like to say?
I would like to thank all of you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. It is a troubled time, but you must have faith if you love God, and if you have faith, and if you lead a good life, love others, and follow the commandments that were given to you by your founding fathers, all will be well. It is a time that you must stand up to evil. If you remain quiet, evil will win. You must pursue good, and you must have others understand that it is not a time to be silent. The evil are always very loud and vociferous, and in many instances very effective through their speech. You must stand up to evil where you find it. Have faith that God is watching. Have faith that we are here to help. Have faith that your spirit guides will help. Pray to us and let us know how you feel and what you would like to take place.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? We really have to go, but I have to say that somebody just sent me a question, and as I was explaining that we were out of time, you answered the question. So you're 2 for 2 on this one tonight. Thank you. So thank you for being with us, and really very good show, and very nice speaking to you. And I will let you go. Barry and Connie, I've got to let you guys go too. So thank you all for listening in. Might do you good to listen to the podcast when I get it posted tomorrow. And Barry, Connie, want to say goodnight real quick?
Good night, everybody. Thank you for listening. The Metatron is wonderful.
Yes, thank everybody for listening. And we have a YouTube channel in my name, Barry Strohm. We have an interview with Metatron on that channel. You can listen to what he said there. We have 7 archangels that we've interviewed and over 100 videos. So thank you all for listening. Thank you for putting up with us, and have faith in God, and all will be well.
And guys, I'm going to be running off to Lily's show right now. So good night, everybody. Blessed be, and merry meet again. Circle beyond.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Stirring the Cauldron with Marla Brooks. Please join us again next week at the same time for another great guest and more cauldron stirring. Any rebroadcast or other use of this program without explicit permission is strictly prohibited.